Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 26, 2023 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously, so thank you so very much for doing so. And it gets this channel seen by the YouTube algorithm, so you guys really are amazing. Now, let's see what the cards have to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, interesting. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides, angels, and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay. So what's very interesting here is that we have the Knight of Wands reversed. So if we're born on the cusp with Leo or we have fire sign energy in our chart, it can be a little bit reckless. So just be mindful about that during this time where we can sit there and be like, what do you mean it's reckless? Like, what do you mean this energy is trying to push me off path? Or, you can have a hard time kind of like understanding that because this is such a good moon for you. It really is such a good moon for you. And we see this by the sun reversed. The sun reversed is like a yes coming forward. It's the happiest card in the whole entire deck. It's like after this full moon, after you really step into yourself, you're going to see a sense of empowerment, a sense of determination, of focus, of insight, of ideas. This full moon is in Cancer. You are ruled by the moon, Cancer. So this moon feels like coming home. It just does. And with the happiest card in the deck here showing up, yes, it's reversed. So it's on a timeout, it's on pause. And then knowing that you're going to connect with this energy as we come out of this full moon, probably as we go, as we go closer to the new moon or the next full moon. Okay. It depends on how moon sensitive you are. It also depends on everything that you're learning and coming into understanding with and coming into balance with during this time. It depends how quickly the sun turns around for you. But the sun is also, it's also Capricorn energy, right? We're in a Capricorn sun period. The moon is at 4 degrees, 58 minutes of Cancer, and the sun is at 4 degrees, 58 minutes of Capricorn. This is, it's funny because this is our sister sign. Capricorn is our sister sign. It brings out the best in us or it brings out the worst in us, but it is bringing us forward. So we can have a bit of a difficulty with the sun sign energy of when the sun is up, we can feel a little bit more like I just feel like we're walking on cobblestones. Like the ground isn't as even as we would like it to be. So just be mindful about this during this time. We are going to see things moving very quickly, but this moon is kind of like hurry up and wait type of energy. So just be aware of this. The 9 of Pentacles reversed. It is going to be very easy to be in the past. It's going to be very easy to be in the future. It's going to be more difficult to be in the right here, right now. So being aware of this during this time, grounding ourselves, being present is going to be super important. If we have Taurus energy Taurus energy in our chart. This is Hierophant energy. I was going to say or Hierophant energy, but that doesn't make sense. If we have Taurus energy in our chart or Taurus is in our life, they do play a very powerful and positive role during this time. Then we have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. So if we have Virgo energy in our chart or Virgos in our life, again, a very powerful, positive energy moving us forward. With the Knight of Wands reverse, that's the chaotic energy coming in. That's kind of like wanting to move forward for the sake of wanting to move forward. Very, any motion is good motion, can be a bit of a temper coming through, a bit of a love them and leave them energy coming through. We can also find ourselves very drawn to people like that, very drawn to people who have this initial like really great burst. They're good in short bursts, but they're not good in follow through. So being aware of this is going to be super important. So let's see what Spirit has to say. And if you're interested in entering to receive a free reading, put a snowman in the comment box below. And if you're interested in purchasing a reading, my website is daneharttarot.com and it is linked in the description box below. Know that with the free reading, with the entering to receive it, you need to put a snowman and a person will be announced on the 1st of January. There we go. 1st of January in a completely separate video. So be mindful of that. Don't be scammed by anybody contacting you in the comment box. It will not be me. All right. So let's see what Spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides. Here it is, authentic reversed. It's interesting because I see this time as almost being like a little kid trying on your mom's clothes or, trying on your dad's clothes, depending on whomever you did, where there's a sense of I'm paying a little bit of dress up right now. I don't know where I authentically stand or where I really want to be, I'm kind of testing things out. So just be mindful about this with authentic, where there's a sense of we can think, oh, this is for me forever. And then it's like, oh, I was just trying it on. It didn't fit. It didn't work out well. Let's move on to something else. And so Spirit is saying here, go slow during this time, even though we have a lot of energy. We're kind of bookend by energy that wants us to move really, really fast. Go slower, be a little bit more steady within yourself. You're really going to appreciate that in the long run. Our chakra energy, angels, and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is inspiration reverse. This is the sacral chakra. This is our sensual self. It doesn't mean that it has to be our romantic self. We can get those confused, but this is a real sense of embracing the sensuality of existence and life and feeling just beautiful in our skin, feeling beautiful in our story, our existence, the way that we're moving forward. We might not be where we want to be. That's okay. That's okay. We don't have to have it perfect, but we are going to find that we're moving towards this place of being inspired. With our sacral chakra reversed, again, we don't have it perfect. We're figuring it out. We're moving through. We're understanding. We're gaining. We're receiving. We're questioning, and then we're stepping into. But we need to let the energy flow through us. There's almost a fear of creation during this time. There's a fear of creation within us. It's like, what if I create this, and then it doesn't live up to my expectations, and then it isn't right? And it's like, but what if you create this, whether it be a romantic relationship, a business partnership, or just a business in and of itself, whether it be a piece of art or a piece of, mathematical equation. What if you create this and it's beautiful in its own right? Maybe it will not live up to expectations because things seldom do. We have this beautiful fantasy world built around things. But what if we step into the here and now and just let it be? That's going to be one of the challenges for this moon for us, but also going into 2024. What if we step into that energy and let it be? It moves us then to our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. And this is the Four of Swords. Be mindful. We're not going to want to rest. We're not going to want to slow it down. We're going to want to keep on speeding and speeding and speeding and speeding and speeding and never looking back, never honoring our story, never, seeing ourselves. And Spirit's like, slow it down and see you. But we almost think, oh no, then that's the trap, right? That's not where I want to be. This moon is the third full moon in a 6 full moon cycle, okay? Of very strong completions coming forward. It's like, okay, that chapter, I see it. I get it. And the sun reversed. I actually, it would actually stand to correlate when we have gone through another 3 full moons. Look at where you stand then. Look at what you want then. Look at how you're stepping into your power during that time, because that's going to be a big deal. This full moon is in Cancer. Again, we feel home. I mean, the moon rules Cancer. We are sensitive, sympathetic, empathetic, empathic people also. This is a very cozy, we like things cozy too. Like, don't forget the cozy, Cancer. If you make things a little bit too stark or a little bit too proper or a little bit too this, a little bit too that, you can feel a little bit out of sorts. Bring back the cozy. Bring back the cozy. That's going to be so important. And there's somebody here who needs to hear that. And also caring. It's like, bring back the caring, bring back the cozy. Let yourself stand forward in this energy. It's kind of like, this is like warm, cozy sweater time if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, this is like that lovely, loose, either sundress or, kind of like, I just see it like those kind of oversized cotton shirts that you can wear that are just comfy and cool and beautiful. I'm just seeing that type of vibe coming forward. So be aware of that energy here during this time. It's like comfy, casual, beautiful, exquisite. And those can all be words to describe you. There's also a strong need to nurture ourselves. We're going to also have a strong need, as we always do, to nurture others. But hey, what are you doing for you? That also comes forward. What are you doing for you? It's going to be very easy to live in the past, to live in the future. But what are you doing for you right now? The 9 of Pentacles is showing up. Now, the moon is our emotional security, and that's in Capricorn, and that's in Cancer. So that's very powerful for us, right? That emotional security here with that nurturing energy. The sun is much more our economic, financial security. That's in Capricorn, and they fit very well together. You also have strong earth sign energy coming through with Taurus and with Virgo. So the next one is Capricorn, and then you'd have all three come forward. So even though this can be a bit of a trickier time, but I just see the sun being a bit of a trickier time. It's kind of like that light shining down, the glaring, the intensity. We want the quiet of the night to come forward. And be it, these are shorter days. So that if you're in the northern hemisphere, they are. And so that's going to be very good. If you're in the southern hemisphere, there is a sense when night comes, when things start to calm down, there's like a centering that is done as well. There are three powerful sextiles during this time. The sun is sextile Saturn in Pisces, Saturn is sextile Jupiter in Taurus, and Jupiter is sextile the full moon in Cancer. And these opportunities are coming to us. This brings like opportunities coming to us. These opportunities are opening up doors. They're having us see things in new ways. They're providing, new growth, new spontaneity, like a sense of like, oh, I can do this. I can move forward like this. But we always need to turn inward. What we're going to be battling is a sense of expansion and caution. Here we have expansion. We're bookend with it, with the Eight of Wands, that sense of fast, 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 everything moving. With the Knight of Wands, fast, 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 reckless also. So do be mindful about that. The Knight of Wands is reckless and careless and determined and focused and fiery and brilliant and blazing. But again, that recklessness we have to be mindful of. Now, the caution comes through with the Hierophant, with the Hermit. It's like, listen, what are you trying to build? What do you need to move forward? Where do you fit? What's comfortable, secure, beautiful for you? And then turning inward. What do you see? What do you want? What are you looking for? How are you opening up the door? How are you turning inward and saying, hey, listen, Cancer, I get to see you. I get to talk to you. Not everybody else. It's not everybody else's wants and wishes. It's yours. What does that mean? And it brings us then to the sun trine Jupiter, which is an expanding vision. It's a higher consciousness coming forward. And that really brings us to this place of like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to make it work for me. I don't need to take all of this and reinvent everything. You have skill set. You have a skill set. You have ideas. You have creativity. And it's not like I have to find a place and carve it out all by myself. It's that I need to see what's out there and see, okay, what works for me, what doesn't? How is this moving me forward? Where do I want to be? What am I looking for? And that's going to be a deal changer during this time. I always see the Hierophant as being, that reinventing the wheel. It's like the wheel for thousands of years, it was made out of stone. That's how people knew it. That's how people did it. That's how people saw it. It was revolutionary when somebody said, hey, can't we do that out of wood? Can't we change it up a bit? And so that's going to be the energy here coming forward. It's like, okay, not meant to be made out of stone, but made out of wood. So much more flexible, so much more versatile, so much more, mobile. It brings us then to Capricorn conjunct one of the royal stars of Persia. Now, this can be a little bit intense for us. So be mindful about this because we have the sun reversed here. Capricorn is the sun sign during this time. And what we're going to see is that this royal star of Persia is Fomalhaut, and Fomalhaut is linked to Archangel Gabriel. We've talked about this before, but the power still moves forward. Now, a fixed star moves 1 degree every 72 years. So it's with us for quite a long time. And so during this time, we're going to see Fomalhaut come forward. Fomalhaut linked to the Archangel Gabriel, the mouthpiece of God, the messenger of God, the spiritual teacher. So a lot of lessons come in. But Fomalhaut is also linked in Persian tradition to demons by way of being linked to dragons and serpents. So demons were represented by dragons and serpents. And so we have the mouthpiece of God coming forward, but we also have the darker side of things. If you believe in demons, then great. If you believe that is an allegory for the seedier side of the world, then that is also great. But we're going to see that energy come forward as well. It's like, how do I step into my glory? And then we're becoming very aware of all the shadows that are around things. So being mindful of that, being aware of that is going to be very powerful. Jupiter is 5 degrees of Taurus. Now, this is us taking another step towards our financial security, our financial, prosperity, and that's going to be very good for us. Hierophant energy is working off of our skills. It's saying, this is where I stand, this is what I'm building, this is what I want, this is what's important to me. And it's looking at these things very openly, very honestly. It's being mindful with ourselves. It's kind of like people who say, I need this ad, I need to pay my bills type of thing. They're not embarrassed. They just say it. And I always really admire that. So here during this time, it's really saying, this is what needs to be done. And we're going to see that within ourselves. It's like, this is what needs to be done in order to progress me forward. There's going to be a very clear thinking type of mentality. Now, we have to be mindful that that clear thinking mentality doesn't get eroded by everybody else needing us, because we can sacrifice ourselves and us moving forward by everybody else demanding our attention. Now we need to slow things down. And yes, take care of our responsibilities. Always a huge, 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 component for that, huge advocate for taking care of our responsibilities. But we also need to be aware of ourselves as well. Now, this is a big deal. The North Lunar Node stays in Aries from now until 2024 and for all of 2024. And what does this mean? You might be asking. Now, this is us becoming stronger, more resilient, more self-sufficient. This is us breaking new ground within ourselves, which, sounds like it's acquiring a toughness. And we'd be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm already super tough. But it's really just saying, I stand in me. I see me. And again, that's very, very much the Hierophant energy. I stand in me. I see me. Also, the Hermit, I'm looking inside. I'm looking at what I need, what I want, where I need to be. And this is breaking ground. And this is looking and coming to the realization that we're stepping into our power and saying, I know who I am. And that's going to be huge. That's all of what 2024 is about. I know who I am. And it starts with this new moon, with this full moon. It starts with this full moon. It starts with this time. It starts with us seeing ourselves. Now, understand also, Chiron is stationary during this time. And you might say, okay, what's the big deal? Well, wherever Chiron appears in our natal chart is where our original wound is. Think of Achilles being dipped in the river Styx. He's held by his Achilles tendon, right? He's held by the back of his foot. And when he's dipped in, that's his one weakness. We have one weakness. We'll see all our other weaknesses, all our other fears and doubts and chaoses built off of that weakness. And the purpose of Chiron, the purpose of this original weakness, is not to hold us back, but is to turn the wound into our leadership skills, into take from being wounded to being a winner, to being, victorious. And that's going to be something that can be a little tricky during this time because we're very used to the energy holding us back. The past comes through very powerfully. The future comes through very powerfully. But where I stand right now feels wobbly. So just be aware of this during this time. It moves us then to the sun conjunct the dwarf planet Ixon at 4 degrees of Capricorn. Now, Ixon wants us to develop our authenticity, which we have a bit of trouble with, like a bit of, I don't want to say controversy, but there is a sense of like, what is my authenticity? Where do I stand for me? What is it that I want? It's telling us follow your bliss. Look at what makes you happy. We might not be able to do what makes us happy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Actually, there's a huge chance we will not be able to. But look at what makes you happy and start following it. Start looking at what you desire and what you want. It's helping us find joy in the simplicity. Things are moving so fast and we're looking at things. It's like, what do I need to keep and what do I need to let go of? Where do I stand right now? There's a speed to us. There's an understanding to us where there's going to be a almost break. It's like, oh no, I don't need that. And nor do I want it. We're also being asked by Ixion, are the rules that you are playing by, are the rules that you are living by right for you? Are they the right ones? Or you been playing somebody else's game? Now, Mercury is going to be squared Neptune. This is fantastic for artists. It is the piece of grit, the piece of sand in the oyster's mouth. And what does that mean? It's the annoyance that turns into a pearl. Because that's what an oyster does. When there's a bit of grit in its mouth, it can't take it out with its hands, doesn't happen. So it covers it with a bit of oyster mucus, oyster spit. And it keeps on covering it and keeps on covering it. And what we see as a beautiful, priceless, piece of jewelry, something to be treasured, an oyster sees as oyster mucus, ew, gross, and a severe annoyance. We're turning inward. We're looking at that bit of grit that we have covered and covered and covered with hard work and discipline and disappointment and disaster and joys and laughter and beauty. And we're seeing it come forward now. It's our oyster spit made into something priceless. So just be aware of that during this time with the Hermit energy. It's all within you. It's all coming forward. Whatever your creative avenue is, the weather, however you weather the storms, however you come forward in your expressive self, that's going to be something, it comes from within you. And it's going to be powerful, Cancer. Mercury is also squared in Mars. Now, this is where we need to be mindful. Everybody needs to be mindful of this. Okay? We need to be mindful of our words. We need to take a breath first and then speak, then act. because we're going to want to fly off the handle just super easily. So just be aware. We can be very biting with our words, and people can be very biting during this time. They'll just go for the jugular and not even apologize or not see like, oh, did I say anything wrong? I'm not, I didn't even realize it. It's just going to be people's natural tendency during this time, which is a bit cruel. So do be mindful about that. But we are also extremely quick-witted, sharp-minded, and enthusiastic. So those are really good attributes that are coming out. Now, Pluto is squared the South Lunar Node, and this has been for all of 2023. But we're going to see it kind of come to a crescendo during this time, is that for this whole year, we've had the choice to choose love or fear. And we've ping-ponged between those choices, right? Choose love or fear, victim or victor. And we're going to find during this time, we're really looking and saying, what did I choose this year? Where do I stand? How have I built my way forward to what the next year will look like, to what my next power will look like, to myself stepping into myself? And that's going to be a big thing. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels, ooh, goodness. Okay, these ones here. Resilience, self-love, purity. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Interesting. So our bonus card is a new start is coming. This is the new moon. So there's a little bit of an apprehension, a wobbliness around moving from this full moon to the new moon. So the evolution of the sun, that's going to really follow that 3 full moon process, where we'll see 3 months from now, 3 months from now, a sense of stepping into our power really fully. But each full moon it's almost like a video game, right? We're gaining extra points each full moon. We're kind of leveling up. So do be aware of that. But we can find it difficult to see a new start coming. We're very much focused where we stand right here, right now. There's a resilience to us. We need to meditate and we need to contemplate to bring our power forward. But there's a resilience to us that we have been overlooking and we haven't really acknowledged, seen, or embraced within ourselves. But it's also time to put down the world tree that we've been carrying, the sense of the great expanse of ourselves, and step into our energy, our power, and what we desire. Bring love into the situation is going to be huge, but self-love is reversed. It's everything moving so fast, we have to say, I love me. And that's going to be a little bit difficult for ourselves. It's going to be a little bit harder. But bringing love into the situation, saying, I choose love over fear, and just making that declaration every single day when we wake up, I choose love over fear, I choose love over fear, that's going to be a game changer. Nothing will come of the situation. What you think you are building is not necessarily what you're building. It's not necessarily how you're building it. And there's a sense here with the 9 of Pentacles. We're living in the past and in the future. There's not that purity to that. And the purity is an interesting word. It brings up a lot of different emotions. But it's just a sense of, think of drinking really crystal clear, beautiful water. It tastes really good. It's bright. It's fresh. It has a vibrancy to it. But we've been letting a lot of expectations, ideas, doubts, fears come forward. And so the water isn't crystal clear. It isn't as pure, right? It has to be purified. Nothing will come of the situation. Stop the worrying. Stop the projecting. Stand right here, right now, and do your absolute best. Because the past has happened. And the future, well, that's yet to be. It's still a wish. And we're still forming and shaping it. It brings us then to, this is a time to take action, and it is. It's a time to say, these are my gifts, these are my talents, this is what I want, this is what I need, and I have wisdom. Wisdom is acquired over years. I remember my great-grandmother saying it quite distinctly, youth is wasted on the young. And I was reading a book today, and I read that, and I thought, oh, hi, great-grandma, that energy coming forward. Our wisdom is gained over the years. We don't realize what we don't realize. We don't know what we don't know, especially when we're little. And so here, it's time to take action. It's time to embrace our wisdom, to embrace our power, to step forward in our deeper understanding. And it brings us to this place of stepping out of our comfort zone and stepping into ourselves. Again, there's a trickiness around the new moon. I don't know why. So I'd be very interested to see when it comes time to do that reading, what it brings up for us, Cancer. But there's a trickiness here around the new moon, a sense of stepping into that deeper understanding, stepping into that wisdom that is overwhelming, insightful, powerful, questioning. So just be aware of this. But we're stepping out of our comfort zone. And it can be kind of like gazelle legs, like baby gazelle legs, being a little bit wobbly, and then we start to run. Then we start to get it. Don't let the past hold you back. We are letting the past hold us back. We are. And acknowledging that and seeing that this full moon, because we have the full moon right here, we're going to see that this full moon brings us power. This full moon has us stepping into ourselves. And it's like, oh, this is where I need to be. This is what I'm discovering for me. Like, this is how I'm opening the door. Don't let the past hold you back. That's going to be one of the most important things we can do during this time. Our subconscious spirit message is fairy tale. What were the fairy tales you loved when you were little? What were the stories that inspired you? Because we're going back to basics here. We're looking at the simplicity of things. That's also what Exion, the dwarf planet Exion, is saying. It's like, what is the simple joys in life? Like, what are the simple things that inspire you, that move you forward, that keep things going? Because we're going to be resetting. We're going to be going back to the simplicity. So it's looking at those fairy tales. It's filling our lives with stories again. It's not having everything be so instantaneous judge, kind of mode that we have going on with social media and quick information and everything like that. It's slowing it down. And it's then embracing that simplicity. Or at least it doesn't mean that we have to be simplifying everything. We can still have our normal lives, but it's not being so quick fire to do everything. Slowing it down is going to be super important. It leads us to our subconscious chakra message. And this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above your crown. And this is divine wisdom. Divine wisdom is raining down on us. Now, this is reversed. So are we rejecting it? Are we, not seeing a full understanding of it? Yeah, we can be rejecting it. We cannot be fully understanding. This is going to be a time where it's, again, slowing down, stabilizing, and really saying, what do I need? What do I want? Where do I need to be? How am I showing up for me? And that's going to be a game changer here. It brings us then to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And this is the Princess of Wands. Be mindful of that hot temper, fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Just be mindful of it. It doesn't mean the person has to be a fire sign energy. It just means their temper leads. They have fire to them. They have a hot temper. You would describe them as fiery. You would describe them as like all things like sparky. Like, it's kind of like they just have sparks coming off of them. But very immature energy here. So just be mindful about that as well. Our subconscious tarot message is the Page of Wands. Here, when we're told to be mindful of the Page of Wands, coming forward, the Princess of Wands in that deck, here it is also our teacher. To be a student of our passion and our creativity and our insight, because we do feel so cozy, so relaxed, so, centered within ourselves, that it's a beautiful time. It is a beautiful time to move forward. It's a beautiful time to embrace ourselves and also to nurture our inner child, our passions, our creativities, our insights, things that inspired us when we were little, and it's bringing that inspiration back into play. It brings us then to our subconscious not tarot, but moon message. Self-reflection is reversed and looking at the bigger picture. We're not going to really want to look at ourselves. We're not going to want to connect with that energy. But if we slow down and self-reflect, not judge, that's going to be a very different thing. But just saying, I honor the child I was. I honor the person I am now. I honor the person I will be. I honor my story. I see it and I honor it. And that's what we need to be mindful of, because we're not going to want to do that. But to honor us and then to look at the bigger picture and to take aim. We're going to get caught up in little details of things. And that's going to keep us from our goal and from the place that we want to be. So do be aware of that. Okay. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless, and have a blessed moon, and happy holidays. Bye.